Don't move, I'll get you out alive. Have you ever heard words like that from a complete stranger and believed them instantly? Brielle Carter has 30 seconds to decide. 30 seconds to trust a man she's never met. 30 seconds before the next bullet tears through business class at 40,000 feet. But let's go back just 2 minutes. Before the gunshots, before the blood, before everything changed. The cabin lights are dimmed for the overnight flight from Seoul to Los Angeles. Most passengers are asleep, cocooned in blankets and noise-canceling headphones. Brielle balances 3 champagne flutes on a tray, smiling at the elderly woman in 5B, who's just shown her a photo of her grandson. Such a sweet boy, Brielle says warmly. 6 years as a flight attendant have taught her to find joy in these small moments. How old is he? 7 next month. The woman, Mrs. Ruth, according to the manifest, beams. Could I trouble you for a little more water, dear? Of course, I'll be right. The first shot punches through the silence like a fist through paper. For half a second, Brielle's brain can't process it. That sound, sharp, impossibly loud, echoing through the cabin. Can't be what she thinks it is, can't be. Then her training kicks in. Her tray hits the floor. Champagne sprays across her shoes, across the carpet. The cabin erupts. Passengers jolting awake. Someone screaming. A child's shriek cutting through the chaos like a knife. 3 rows back, Air Marshal Thomas springs from his seat, hand reaching for the concealed weapon beneath his jacket. He's fast, trained, professional, not fast enough. A second man appears behind him, younger, cold eyes, gun already drawn. 2 shots, quick, efficient. Thomas drops to his knees, then collapses forward into the aisle. No backup, no protection, just chaos and us. Brielle's heart is trying to punch through her ribcage. Her hands are shaking, but her father's voice echoes in her head. The voice from a childhood spent on military bases, from a man who believed strength wasn't about never being afraid. It was about moving despite the fear. When the world goes sideways, you don't freeze, you move. A man in a gray hoodie stands in the aisle now, 3 rows ahead of where Brielle's frozen. Gun raised, pointed at the ceiling where his first bullet has torn through insulation and wiring. Sparks rain down like deadly confetti, and some passengers are crying, others silent with shock. Brielle's gaze sweeps the cabin. The 6-year-old boy in 4C is frozen, half out of his seat, reaching for his mother in the row ahead. His eyes are wide with terror. His mother is turned around, arms stretched toward him but not quite reaching, her face a mask of helpless fear. Brielle doesn't think, doesn't calculate, just moves. She lunges forward, wraps her arms around the boy's small frame, pulls him down into the footwell between seats. His heart hammers against her ribs like a trapped bird. He's shaking, whimpering, and Brielle curves her body over his. "Close your eyes, sweetheart," she whispers, forcing her voice steady. "Keep them closed tight. I've got you. You're safe with me." The boy buries his face against her shoulder. His mother is reaching for him, tears streaming down her face, mouthing "thank you" over and over. Brielle carefully passes the child to his mother's arms, making sure they're both down low, protected by the seat backs. Then she looks up. The gunman in the gray hoodie, the leader, she realizes, has finished making his point with the ceiling. Now his gaze sweeps the cabin. Methodical, hunting for something, someone. Then it stops, locks onto row 3A. The man sitting there, the one who hasn't moved all flight, the one with the expensive suit and the careful stillness, his expression changes, just for a moment. Not fear, not panic, recognition, like he's been waiting for this, preparing for it. He rises. The movement is fluid, controlled, faster than Brielle would have expected. He's already turning, already assessing, and the gunman swings his weapon toward him with a smile that makes Brielle's blood run cold. "There you are," the gunman says, loud enough for half the cabin to hear. Brielle is in the aisle now, exposed, and she realizes with cold clarity that a third gunman has appeared from the forward galley, weapon drawn, moving toward row 3A from the other direction. They're boxing him in. This isn't random, this is a hunt. Then everything happens at once. The man from 3A sees her standing there, sees her exposed. Their eyes meet for just a fraction of a second, his dark, intense, calculating, and something flashes across his face. Decision. His hand shoots out, clamps around her wrist, hard, fast, but somehow not painful. He pulls her behind him in one smooth motion. His other hand slams into the back of the nearest seat, bracing them both as the gunman fires. The bullet punches into the seat cushion exactly where her head was half a heartbeat ago. Filling erupts in a small cloud. The man from 3A, whoever he is, has positioned himself between her and the shooters. His body is a wall, a shield. His voice is low, steady, utterly, impossibly calm. "Don't move. I'll get you out alive." Brielle's pulse thunders in her ears. She stares at the back of his head, dark hair, the precise line where his haircut meets his neck, the tension in his shoulders that somehow doesn't read as fear. This stranger just threw himself between her and death without hesitation. Who is he? And why does he move like violence is a second language? Another shot, close enough that Brielle feels the air displace beside her ear. The man tightens his grip on her wrist, keeping her locked behind him. "Stay behind me," he says, still in that impossibly calm voice. "When I move, you move. Understand?" Brielle can barely breathe, but she manages. "Yes." "Good, now run." He doesn't wait for confirmation. He moves, and Brielle moves with him, because his hand is still locked around her wrist, and she has no choice but to follow or fall. They're running down the aisle now, his body still angled to keep himself between her and the shooters. Behind them, the gray hoodie gunman shouts something in his native language, sharp, furious, commands that Brielle can't understand, but feels in her bones. Another shot rings out. The window in 7A spiderwebs but doesn't shatter, a perfect circle of fractured glass. Passengers are screaming, ducking, some trying to run toward the rear exits. It's chaos, pure chaos. "Move," the man says again. His grip on her wrist is ironclad but somehow still careful, anchoring without bruising. They hit the galley curtain at a run. Brielle's heels catch on the carpet, but she doesn't fall. He steadies her without breaking stride. The curtain tangles around them for a moment before they burst through. Cassandra is already there, phone pressed to the cockpit intercom, her face pale but composed. "Bridge, we have an active shooter situation," she's saying, voice clipped and professional. 3 confirmed hostiles. Air Marshal is down, requesting immediate. A bullet tears through the curtain behind them, ripping fabric. Cassandra gasps, stumbles. The phone clatters from her hand. Blood blooms across her shoulder, spreading fast across the crisp white of her uniform shirt. Cassandra! Brielle catches her before she hits the floor, easing her down against the galley wall. I'm fine. Cassandra's breathing is shallow, but her voice is steel. She presses her hand to the wound, blood welling between her fingers. Grazed, I'm fine. Her eyes find Brielle's. Get to safety, Carter. That's an order. Protect the passengers. The stranger is already moving with purpose. He grabs a heavy serving cart, the kind loaded with meals and equipment, and shoves it against the galley entrance with surprising strength. It won't hold for long, but it's something, a barrier. Precious seconds. He turns to Brielle. How many exits? His eyes are dark, intense, and up close she can see. He's younger than she first thought, maybe early 30s, sharp jawline, a small scar near his left eyebrow, and absolutely no panic in his expression. 4, Brielle hears herself say, her training kicking in despite the terror. 2 forward, 2 rear, but they control the forward section. Then we go back. Cassandra grabs Brielle's ankle. Carter, listen to me. Full authority. Whatever it takes to protect those people. Do you understand? Brielle nods. Her hands are shaking as she grabs a clean towel, presses it against Cassandra's shoulder. Hold this. Apply pressure. I'll come back for you. Go! In the cockpit, Captain Howard's voice is steady over the radio, decades of experience keeping his tone calm, even as his heart races. Mayday, mayday, this is Flight 428, Seoul to Los Angeles. We have a hijacking in progress, 3 armed hostiles, 1 crew member injured, requesting immediate military escort and emergency landing clearance. First Officer Lin's hands are already moving across the controls, initiating emergency descent protocols. Depressurizing to 10,000 feet, 18 minutes to nearest airfield, March Air Reserve Base. Copy, notifying passengers. Howard switches to the cabin intercom. His voice fills the plane, calm and authoritative. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain. We are experiencing an emergency situation. Federal authorities have been notified, and we are making an emergency landing. Please remain in your seats with your seatbelts fastened. Help is coming. Crew, follow emergency protocols. But help is 18 minutes away. And in the galley, another shot blasts through the makeshift barricade. The serving cart shudders, begins to slide. The stranger grabs Brielle's shoulders, his touch firm but not rough, controlled, and pulls her down. They hit the galley floor together, his body covering hers completely as the bullet sparks off the metal counter above them, ricocheting with a sound like a struck bell. For a moment they're pressed together in the small space between the counter and the wall, chest to chest. Brielle can feel his heartbeat. It's faster than before, but still steadier than hers, still controlled. The clean scent of his cologne mixed with the copper smell of blood in the air. Their faces are inches apart. She can see gold flecks in his dark eyes, see the concentration in his expression. Not fear, calculation. Who are they? Brielle demands, anger cutting through her fear now. Why are they shooting at you? His jaw tightens. Not the right time. If I'm going to die in a galley over the Pacific Ocean, you're not going to die. His voice drops lower, quieter, but somehow more commanding. Each word deliberate. Stay low, stay quiet. Trust me to handle this. I don't even know your name. Something flickers in his eyes. Almost a smile. Almost. Tae-jin. Tae-jin Seo. The pounding on the barricade stops. Silence rushes in. somehow worse than the noise. Brielle can hear her own breathing, rapid and shallow, can hear Cassandra's soft groan of pain, can hear the muffled crying of passengers beyond the curtain. Taejin shifts, easing his weight off her but keeping one hand braced against the floor beside her head, still shielding, still protecting. Brielle stares up at him, this stranger named Taejin Seo, who pulled her from the line of fire and is looking at her now like she's something precious, something he has to keep alive at all costs. And she realizes he's terrified, not of them, not of dying, of losing her. "Who are you?" she whispers. "Really?" His expression doesn't change, but something flickers in his eyes, something that looks like regret and resignation and a desperate kind of hope. "Someone who should have flown alone," he says quietly. "Someone who's put you in danger just by sitting in the same cabin." He pauses, searching her face. "I'm sorry." "Don't apologize." Brielle's voice is stronger now. "Just get us out of here." His eyes hold hers for another moment. Then he nods. Once. A promise. The plane lurches violently, not turbulence. A deliberate drop. Captain Howard pulling them into emergency descent, trying to get low enough for fighter escort, for ground support. Brielle's stomach flips. The galley groans, metal protesting the stress. Somewhere in the cabin, passengers are screaming. The serving cart slides another inch. They're out of time. Taejin braces against the counter. He's trying to get us low enough for military intervention. "That'll take 20 minutes, maybe more." Brielle forces herself upright, gripping the counter edge for support. Her hands are shaking, but her mind is clearing, sharpening. 6 years of training for emergencies. 2 deployments alongside her Air Force father before she chose civilian life. She knows how to function through fear. Those men will kill everyone by then. They're not here for everyone. She looks at him, waits. Taejin exhales slowly. It's the first unguarded thing she's seen him do. His shoulders drop just slightly, and suddenly he looks tired, older, human. "They're here for me," he says flatly. "Why?" "Because I made a deal that someone else wanted." His voice is matter of fact, like he's discussing the weather. Territory rights, distribution networks, the kind of business deals that don't happen in boardrooms. He meets her gaze directly. "I run an organization in Seoul, International Connections. When negotiations get complicated, people get desperate." He gestures towards the cabin. This kind of desperate. The word he doesn't say hangs between them. Organized crime, the mafia. The kind of world Brielle has only seen in movies. This should terrify her. It does terrify her. But she's also spent 6 years managing crisis at 35,000 feet. Drunk passengers who get violent, medical emergencies with no doctor on board, an engine fire over Denver that nearly killed everyone. She knows how to push past terror and function. "How many are there?" she asks. 3 confirmed. Gray Hoodie is the leader. Lee Min-ho, freelance operator out of Hong Kong. The 2 with him are muscle. There might be a 4th in first class watching the exits. Taejin's eyes are dark, serious. "They won't stop until I'm dead. Or they are. Those are the only 2 ways this ends." Brielle thinks of the boy in 4C, still crying against his mother's shoulder. Thinks of Mrs. Ruth with her grandson's photo. Thinks of Cassandra bleeding against the wall, injured protecting her crew. All the innocent people who boarded this flight, expecting nothing more dramatic than bad coffee and cramped legroom. She thinks of her father's voice, during those long-ago deployments when she was 16 and following him to bases around the world. Fear is just information, baby girl. It tells you the stakes are high, but it doesn't get to make your decisions. You do that, you always have a choice. Brielle straightens, smooths her blood-spattered vest, meets Taejin's eyes directly. If you want to survive this, she says, voice steady now with decision, you'll need me. His eyebrows lift slightly. You're a flight attendant. I'm a flight attendant who knows every inch of this plane, every exit, every storage compartment, every maintenance access point they won't even know exists. She steps closer, closing the distance between them. You know how to fight. I know how to navigate. You understand their tactics. I understand this aircraft. Together, we stand a chance. Alone, we're both dead. For a long moment, Taejin just looks at her, really looks, like he's seeing past the uniform, past the fear she's managing, past everything surface level to something underneath. Something strong and stubborn and unwilling to give up. Then the corner of his mouth lifts, not quite a smile, something harder, something like respect, like recognition. You're military family, aren't you? He says. I can tell. That way you hold yourself. That look in your eyes. Air Force brat. Dad was a colonel, retired now. Brielle allows herself a small smile. He taught me to never freeze when things go wrong. Smart man. Taejin's expression softens just slightly. All right, Brielle Carter, show me what you've got. Behind them, the barricade groans. Heavy footsteps approach, voices in harsh whispers. Brielle moves to the floor panel near the back wall. This service hatch leads to the cargo deck. They'll expect us to run for the exits or hide in the bathrooms. They won't expect us to go down. She pulls the release lever. The hatch swings open, revealing a dark shaft with a service ladder descending into shadows. Taejin looks at it, then at her. You're full of surprises. You haven't seen anything yet. Brielle glances at Cassandra. I'm coming back for you. Cassandra nods weakly. I'll be here. Go. The barricade shudders. Something heavy slams against it. Once, twice. Now, Taejin says. Brielle grabs his hand, and this time she's the one pulling him, leading him into the dark. As they drop into the cargo hold, Brielle realizes something that should terrify her but somehow doesn't. She trusts him completely, implicitly. A stranger, a criminal, a man who's brought death to her plane and danger to every soul on board. But when he looks at her, really looks at her, she doesn't see a mafia boss. She sees someone who'll die before he lets harm come to her, and maybe, just maybe, that's enough. When survival depends on trusting a stranger, you find out fast who's worth believing in. When everything falls apart, you discover what people are really made of. If you're feeling this tension, if your heart is racing, hit that like button. And let's see where this flight takes us. The cargo hold smells like engine oil, recycled air, and the faint chemical scent of fire retardant. Brielle drops through the access hatch first, landing in a practiced crouch on the metal deck. The space is dimly lit by emergency lighting, strips of red running along the walls. Luggage is stacked and secured in metal cages. The temperature is cooler here, and the engine noise is deeper, more visceral, a constant thrumming vibration that Brielle can feel in her bones. Taejin follows half a second later, silent as a shadow despite his size. He lands beside her, immediately assessing the space with quick, tactical glances. His hand goes to his jacket pocket for a moment before he remembers. Commercial flight. No weapons. He's unarmed except for his training. Above them, footsteps pound across the galley floor. Shouts in that harsh language Brielle doesn't understand. The hunters searching, angry they've lost their prey. Down here, it's almost quiet, just the engines and their breathing. Through the thin walls, Captain Howard's voice crackles over the cabin intercom. Altitude now at 15,000 feet. Emergency services have been notified and are standing by. Please remain calm. 15 minutes. We have 15 minutes until landing. We just have to survive 15 more minutes. But Brielle knows that's a lifetime when people are hunting you with guns. She moves to the wall panel near the forward bulkhead, fingers flying over the emergency schematic that's posted there. The kind of diagram most passengers would never notice, but every crew member memorizes in training. She traces the layout with one finger. "We're here," she says quietly, pointing. "Cargo hold beneath the main cabin, mid-fuselage. If we follow this maintenance corridor forward, we can access the rear galley without going through the passenger area, but we'll be exposed for about 30 seconds crossing the service bay. No cover." Tae-jin studies the diagram, his mind clearly working through tactical possibilities. What about accessing the cockpit? Can we get to the pilots, give them intel? Locked, reinforced door, post 9/11 security protocols. Even I can't access it mid-flight without clearance codes. She looks at him. And even if we could, they're our best chance at getting this plane on the ground safely. We can't risk pulling them away from flying. So our only play is keeping you alive until we land, and keeping those passengers safe. They won't wait. Tae-jin's voice is grim. Standard hostage protocol. They'll start executing passengers to draw me out. Force my hand. His jaw tightens. They know I'll come. Brielle's blood runs cold. She thinks of the boy, his mother, Mrs. Ruth, all those people who just wanted to get home safely. "Then we don't let it get that far," she says with more confidence than she feels. "We move first, keep them off balance." She pulls open a storage locker mounted on the wall. Standard emergency equipment, medical kit, emergency blankets, flashlights. And there, mounted on the wall beside the locker, a fire axe, secured behind a break glass panel. Brielle breaks the glass with her elbow, pulling out the axe. She hands it to Tae-jin. He takes it, testing the weight, the balance. His hands move over it with the kind of familiarity that tells Brielle this isn't the first time he's held a weapon. He nods once, satisfied. "You've done this before," she says. Not quite a question. "I've survived before." His gaze is steady, honest. "I've fought before. I've protected people before." He pauses. "But I've never had someone I couldn't afford to lose." The words land between them, heavy, real, undeniable. Brielle swallows hard. "Then let's make sure we both walk off this plane." That's the plan. They move deeper into the cargo hold, following the maintenance corridor. The space is narrow, tight enough that Tae-jin's shoulders brush both walls. Industrial pipes run along the ceiling, labeled with faded stencils. The floor is metal grating that rings slightly with each step. Brielle leads, counting steps, calculating distances. Behind them, the cargo hatch slams open. Flashlight beams cut through the darkness, sweeping across the space they just left. "They're in the cargo hold," a voice shouts above. "Cut them off at the service bay." Brielle and Tae-jin exchange a look. Their window just got narrower. They pick up the pace, moving as quietly as possible on the metal grating. They round a corner. The service bay yawns ahead. It's an open space, maybe 30 feet across, with exposed ductwork and electrical panels. The kind of area passengers never see, utilitarian and harsh. The rear galley access is on the far side, a door with a porthole window, their way back to the passenger cabin. 30 feet of exposure, no cover, no options. And from the shadows at the far end of the corridor behind them, flashlight beams are getting closer. Brielle looks back at Tae-jin. On 3? He nods, gripping the axe. I'll be right behind you. 1. Gunfire erupts. Not aimed at them, aimed above them. In the cabin. Through the thin ceiling, Brielle hears it clearly. 3 shots. A woman's scream. Mrs. Ruth's voice. She'd recognize it anywhere. Passengers crying out in terror. They're executing passengers. Brielle breathes, horror flooding through her. They're killing people to draw us out, to force Tae-jin to surface. Go, Tae-jin says, his voice hard as iron. Run, I'll cover you. Not without... Go! Brielle runs. She sprints across the open bay, her heels clicking on metal, loud as gunshots in the enclosed space. She's halfway across when the gunman appears at the corridor's end behind them. Weapon raised. Tae-jin doesn't hesitate. He pivots, throws the axe. It spins end over end, catches the gunman in the shoulder. Not a kill shot, but enough. The man goes down with a scream, his weapon clattering away. Now, Tae-jin shouts. Brielle makes it to the galley access door, slams into it. Tae-jin is right behind her, close enough that she can feel his presence, his hand on her back, guiding her through as the door swings open. They tumble through together into the rear galley. Safe, for the moment. Brielle is breathing hard, adrenaline singing through her veins. Tae-jin is beside her, also breathing heavily, blood on his knuckles from where he hit the wall during the throw. Never, he says roughly. Ask me to do that again. What? Let you run ahead while I stay behind. Never again. His eyes are intense. We move together from here on, understood? Brielle's laugh is half sob. Deal. They make it to the rear engine compartment, through a maintenance shaft Brielle barely remembered from her initial training 6 years ago. The kind of obscure emergency knowledge that gets covered once and then mostly forgotten. But she remembers now, remembers everything. The compartment is barely large enough for 2 people. Metal walls close on all sides, covered in warning labels and technical specifications. The engine roar is deafening here, constant, bone-deep vibration that makes Brielle's teeth ache. The heat from the engines makes the air thick, hard to breathe. No one will hear them here. No one will find them. For the first time since the shooting started, they have a moment. A pause, a breath. Brielle collapses against the wall, sliding down until she's sitting on the metal floor. Her legs are shaking so badly, she's not sure they'll hold her up anymore. The adrenaline is crashing now, leaving her hollow and trembling. Tae-jin sinks down beside her, shoulder to shoulder in the narrow space. His hand finds hers in the dim light, fingers threading through hers, holding on like she's the only solid thing in a world gone mad. For a long time, neither of them speaks. Then Brielle starts to laugh. It's jagged, edged with hysteria and exhaustion. This is insane, absolutely insane. I serve drinks for a living. I hand out peanuts and demonstrate how to use a seatbelt. I'm not trained for this. I'm not equipped for this. You're doing fine. Tae-jin's voice cuts through her spiral, calm, steady, certain. Better than fine. You've kept us alive. You've kept me alive. She looks at him. In the dim emergency lighting, his face is all sharp angles and shadows. But his eyes are softer now than they were in the galley, more open, more vulnerable. Why does that matter to you? She asks quietly. You don't even know me. I'm just some random flight attendant who happened to be standing in the wrong place at the wrong time. You're not random. His voice is low, intense. I watched you before everything happened, before the shooting. You were kind to that old lady, patient, genuine. Not just doing your job, but actually caring. He pauses. And then when the shooting started, you didn't run. You protected that child. Threw yourself over him without hesitation. That's not training, that's character. Brielle's eyes sting. I was terrified. Bravery isn't the absence of fear, it's moving despite it. Tae-jin reaches out, takes her hand again. This time he presses it flat against his chest, over his heart. She can feel it beating, steady, strong, alive. Feel that? That's what you gave me, a reason to make sure we both walk off this plane. Before today, I didn't have that. What do you mean? His jaw tightens. For a moment she thinks he won't answer. Then he exhales slowly, and it's like watching a wall come down. I've spent 15 years not caring if I lived or died, he says quietly. Every decision calculated. Every risk acceptable. Because there was nothing to lose, no family. They cut ties years ago when I made my choices. No real friends, just business associates. No one who'd mourn me if I disappeared. His thumb brushes across her knuckles, almost unconsciously. When you live like that, you get reckless, dangerous. You take chances no sane person would take. Because what's the worst that can happen? You die. So what? Brielle can barely breathe, caught by the raw honesty in his voice. Then you smiled at an old lady about her grandson. Tae-jin continues. Pulled a child from the line of fire. Demanded to know why they were shooting at me. Like you had every right to an answer. Like my problems were now your problems too. He looks at her, and there's something vulnerable in his eyes now. Something desperate. I've never trusted anyone. Never let anyone close enough to matter. Until now. Tae-jin, if we die up here, he says, each word deliberate, I need you to know, meeting you was worth it. This, he gestures to the cramped compartment, to the danger pressing in around them. All of this was worth it for the chance to know someone like you exists. Brielle's heart feels too big for her chest. She leans forward, presses her forehead to his. They're close enough that she can see the gold flecks in his dark eyes, see the faint scar near his eyebrow, see every imperfection that makes him human. We're not dying up here, she whispers. Do you hear me? We're both getting off this plane, both of us, together. Together, he echoes, and it sounds like a vow. Outside the compartment, footsteps approach, slow, methodical, the hunters still searching. But Tae-jin doesn't let go of her hand, and Brielle doesn't let go of his. They move as one, deeper into the machinery, into the shadows where the engines are loudest, still connected, still choosing each other with every breath. The plan falls apart at 12,000 feet. They've made their way back to the main cabin, moving through maintenance corridors and service passages. The goal, reach the rear exits, start evacuating passengers section by section while keeping Tae-jin hidden. Keep people safe until the plane lands. It's a good plan, a solid plan. It lasts exactly 90 seconds. They emerge through a service door into the rear galley. The main cabin is beyond, and the scene that greets them makes Brielle's heart sink. The attackers have secured first class and business completely. Passengers are huddled in their seats, hands visible, silent with terror. The boy from 4C is clutching his mother, both of them trembling. Mrs. Ruth sits with tears streaming down her face, her grandson's photo still clutched in one hand. Cassandra kneels in the aisle near row 6, blood-soaked bandage on her shoulder. When she sees Brielle and Tae-jin emerge, relief flashes across her pale face. "Carter, thank God." Her voice is steady despite the blood loss, despite the pain. Years of experience keeping her functional. They've taken control, 3 of them. They've been asking about someone, a male passenger, Korean, traveling alone. Her gaze flicks to Tae-jin, then back. Understanding dawns in her eyes. "It's him, isn't it?" Brielle nods, unable to speak. "Then get him out of here." Cassandra's voice drops. "I already gave you full authority, Carter. Use it, whatever it takes to protect these people." "I'm not leaving you." "You have to. They're threatening to start executing passengers in 5 minutes if their target doesn't show himself." Cassandra's eyes are fierce. "Save as many as you can. That's the job." Brielle feels like her chest is caving in. 5 minutes. They have 5 minutes before people start dying for real. But there's no time to respond. The gray hoodie gunman, Lee Min-ho, Tae-jin called him, appears from the forward galley like a ghost, sees Tae-jin, smiles like a wolf spotting prey. "There you are." 2 more gunmen flank him, moving to cut off escape routes. They've been coordinating, hurting. This was the plan all along. Let them think they had a chance, then box them in when it mattered most. Tae-jin steps in front of Brielle, positioning himself between her and the threat. "Let them go, all of them. This is between us." "It was," Min-ho agrees pleasantly. "Until you made this flight attendant part of it. Until you started protecting her like she matters." His smile widens. "She must be very special. I wonder how special." Everything happens too fast for Brielle to process. Min-ho lunges, not for Tae-jin, for her. She tries to dodge, tries to use her training, but he's professional. Fast, his arm locks around her throat, gun pressed to her temple. The metal is cold against her skin, a small circle of pressure that means death. Mrs. Ruth whimpers. The boy in 4C starts crying loudly. His mother is praying under her breath, holding him tight. "This is my fault. I led them here. I put everyone in danger." Tae-jin goes absolutely, utterly still. His hands spread slowly, showing he's unarmed, empty. But his eyes are pure violence barely leashed. The look of a man calculating kill shots, running through scenarios. "Let her go." His voice is flat. Dead. The most dangerous sound Brielle has ever heard. "Drop any weapons. Show me your hands. Slowly." Tae-jin spreads his fingers wider. No tricks. No hidden advantages. "Good. Now here's how this works." Behind them, in the cargo hold they escaped from earlier, something sparks. The fire the attackers set to smoke them out has been smoldering, and now it catches on something chemical. Flames leap. Smoke begins to pour through the vents in thick, acrid clouds. Captain Howard's voice crackles over the intercom, still maddeningly calm. "Fire detected in cargo hold, initiating automatic suppression systems. All crew report status." The suppression system triggers with a loud whoosh. Alarms shriek throughout the plane. Emergency lights begin to strobe, red and white, making everything feel surreal, dreamlike, nightmarish. For just a moment, half a second, Minho's attention diverts to the alarms, the smoke, the chaos. Brielle acts on instinct, slams her heel down on his instep with all her weight, twists her body hard to the right. His grip loosens. She breaks free, but she doesn't run away from the danger, doesn't run toward the exits or try to save herself. She runs toward the passengers, toward the boy in 4C who's sobbing, toward his mother who's frozen with terror. "Get down!" Brielle screams, throwing herself over them. Minho recovers instantly, swings his weapon toward her. Taejin roars her name, moving forward, but an emergency fire door slams shut between them. Automatic protocol triggered by the fire detection system, designed to compartmentalize the aircraft. Heavy steel, locked, sealed. Brielle is on one side with the passengers and the attackers. Taejin is on the other. Through the small reinforced window in the door, she can see his face, sees the moment his control shatters completely, sees the panic, the terror, the absolute devastation. He's pounding on the door, both fists, hard enough that Brielle knows his hands must be bleeding. She can see his mouth moving, see him shouting, but the alarms and the door muffle everything to silence. Minho grabs her again, harder this time, gun pressed not to her temple, but to the base of her skull. Execution position. "Tell him to come out when this door opens," Minho hisses in her ear. "Or I start with the old lady, then the mother, then the child, and I make him watch through that window before I kill you last." Mrs. Ruth is sobbing openly now. Other passengers are crying, praying, holding each other. Brielle meets Taejin's eyes through that window, sees him breaking in real time, sees him about to do something stupid, something reckless, something that'll get him killed trying to save her. She shakes her head slowly, mouths one word, "Don't." His fist slams into the door again, once, twice. Blood smears across the window, bright red against reinforced glass. "Now," Minho says pleasantly, "let's talk about what your boyfriend is worth to you." Brielle closes her eyes, feels the gun pressed against her skull, hears Mrs. Ruth crying, hears the boy whimpering, hears her own heartbeat loud in her ears. "I'm sorry, Dad. I'm sorry I couldn't move fast enough this time." But then she opens her eyes, and she sees it. The emergency axe release panel on the wall, 6 feet away, behind Minho, who's focused on Taejin through the window. The boy's mother sees it too. Their eyes meet. A moment of understanding passes between them, two women who refuse to die without fighting. And Brielle realizes something. They're not helpless, not yet, not while they can still move. When the world goes sideways, you don't freeze, you move. Taejin stops thinking. 15 years in his world have taught him control, strategy, patience, calculate every angle, weigh every risk, never let emotion cloud judgment. But Brielle is on the other side of that door with a gun to her head, and every lesson he's ever learned doesn't matter anymore. He slams into the door with his full weight, once, twice. The hinges groan but hold. The door is designed to withstand cabin pressure loss, fire, impact. It's not meant to open. Smoke pours thicker from the cargo hold now, acrid, choking, filling the corridor where he's trapped. The fire alarm continues its deafening shriek. Through the chaos, he can barely see Brielle through the small window, but he can see the gun pressed to her head, and that's all that matters. He uses everything, rips the emergency axe from its mount on his side of the wall, drives the pointed end into the door hinges with every ounce of strength he has. Once, twice, the metal shrieks in protest. On the third blow, the top hinge shatters. In the cockpit, First Officer Lin's voice is sharp with urgency. "Captain, we're losing cabin pressure in sections. Smoke in multiple compartments. Fire suppression not containing it. Full emergency descent," Howard commands, his calm finally cracking at the edges. "Get us on the ground, now. I don't care if it's the middle of the desert. Put us down." The plane drops, fast, nose angling down at a steep descent that has passengers screaming, oxygen masks deploying automatically, the whole aircraft shuddering with the strain. But Tae-jin barely feels it. He keeps hitting the door. On the other side, Brielle is waiting for her moment. When the plane lurches from the emergency descent, everything shifts. Passengers scream. Min-ho's balance wavers, just slightly, just enough. Brielle drives her elbow back into his ribs with every ounce of strength her father taught her in those long-ago self-defense lessons. Something cracks, bone or cartilage. Min-ho gasps, his grip loosening. The boy's mother moves, launches herself forward from her seat, grabs the emergency axe from the wall panel on her side, swings it wild and desperate at the second gunman's legs. It catches him across the shin, not deep, but unexpected. He goes down with a shout. Chaos erupts. Passengers who've been frozen with terror suddenly move, some diving for cover, others surging toward the rear exits. One businessman tackling the third gunman who's distracted by the sudden riot. Tae-jin kicks the damaged door. It buckles, crashes inward in a shower of metal splinters. Two more attackers converge, one from the forward galley, who'd been securing first class, one who'd been guarding the cockpit access. They see Tae-jin emerge and move to intercept. Tae-jin doesn't slow, doesn't stop, doesn't calculate. He moves like water, like choreographed violence, like every fight he's ever survived has led to this moment. The axe swings. The first attacker's weapon goes flying. The second man lunges with a knife. Tae-jin drops low, sweeps his leg, sends him crashing into the seats hard enough that he doesn't get back up. Brielle has broken free from Min-ho. She's moving toward the exits, hurting passengers. "Get to the back, everyone move, single file. Stay calm." Cassandra is there too, bleeding and pale but still functional, still professional. "Orderly, children first. Carter, get them out." Passengers surge past, some crying, some silent with shock. The boy's mother has her son in her arms, running for safety. Mrs. Ruth is being helped by a younger man, both heading for the rear exit. Brielle is getting them out, saving them. She's magnificent. Tae-jin dispatches another attacker, the one from the galley, and turns to find Brielle. That's when he sees it. Min-ho has recovered. He's on his feet, blood on his face, weapon raised. And it's not pointed at Tae-jin, it's pointed at the boy in 4C who's running for his mother, small legs pumping, unaware of the danger. Time fractures into crystalline clarity. Tae-jin sees Min-ho's finger tighten on the trigger, sees the trajectory, sees the boy running, innocent and unaware, sees the future where that child dies and the light goes out of Brielle's eyes forever. He moves, throws himself forward, not toward Min-ho. He'll never make it in time. Toward the boy, toward Brielle, who's also seen it and is diving for the child. The shot rings out, impossibly loud, final, echoing. Tae-jin feels the impact. Sharp, hot, taking his breath, his body jerking sideways from the force. But he's caught the boy, pushed him toward his mother. Safe. He staggers. His hand goes to his side, comes away red. Bright red. Too much red. No! Brielle's voice breaks, rising to a scream. No! She catches him as he drops to his knees, her arms wrapping around him, trying to hold him up through sheer force of will. His breathing is ragged, labored, but his eyes find hers immediately, clear, focused, even now. The boy, he gasps, safe. Tears stream down Brielle's face, hot and unchecked. He's safe. You saved him. You saved all of them. Behind them, Cassandra has tackled Minho while he was focused on his shot. 2 male passengers pile on, pinning him. The businessman who tackled the 3rd attacker earlier is helping secure them with seatbelt extensions, makeshift restraints. It's over. The attackers are down, the passengers are safe. But Tae-jin is bleeding in her arms, and Brielle can't stop crying. The plane shudders violently. Captain Howard's voice, strained but still controlled. Brace for emergency landing. Crew, secure the cabin. Touchdown in 90 seconds. Brielle wraps herself around Tae-jin, cradling his head against her chest. Stay with me. Do you hear me? You promised. You promised we'd both walk off this plane. He manages a smile, faint, pained, but real, so real. Both of us, he whispers, together. Together, Brielle echoes, holding him tighter. Don't you dare leave me, not now, not after everything. The plane drops toward the runway. Through the windows, Brielle can see emergency vehicles racing alongside. Fire trucks, ambulances, police cars with lights flashing. Tae-jin's eyes start to close. Brielle presses her hand hard against the wound, trying to slow the bleeding. Look at me, she demands. Tae-jin, look at me. His eyes open, focus on her face. Stay, she whispers. Please, stay. Trying, he breathes. For you, trying. The wheels hit asphalt with a scream of rubber. The plane bounces once, settles, brakes engaging with a force that throws everyone forward. But Brielle holds Tae-jin through it all, her body wrapped around his, protecting him the way he protected her. The plane stops. The emergency exits blow open. Fresh air rushes in, voices shouting orders, paramedics swarming aboard with equipment. Someone tries to pull Brielle away from Tae-jin. She bares her teeth. I'm not leaving him. I'm not leaving him. A paramedic, young woman with kind eyes, says gently, We need to treat him. Let us help him. I'm a flight attendant. I know first aid. I can help. Then help by holding pressure while we get him on the stretcher. Can you do that? Brielle nods, doesn't let go. They work around her. IV lines, oxygen mask, trauma dressings. The lead paramedic assesses the wound quickly, efficiently. Through and through, right side below the ribs. Missed the major organs, but he's lost a lot of blood. He looks at Brielle. You kept him alive. Good pressure control. Tae-jin's hand finds hers, squeezes weakly. His eyes are unfocused now, but still on her face. Stay, he murmurs again. I'm here. I'm right here. She leans close, speaks directly into his ear. I'm not going anywhere. Do you understand? You're stuck with me now. His lips move. She thinks he's trying to smile. They load him onto the stretcher. Brielle refuses to let go of his hand, walking alongside as they carry him off the plane. Outside, it's chaos. Emergency vehicles everywhere. Passengers being triaged. reporters being held back by police, the plane smoking from the cargo hold fire that's being extinguished. But all Brielle sees is Tae-jin. All she hears is his breathing, shallow but steady. All she feels is his hand in hers. Stay, please stay. I just found you. Don't leave me yet. The runway comes up fast. Brielle has lived through 16 emergency landings. She knows the sound of tires screaming on asphalt, the lurch as brakes engage, the collective gasp of passengers realizing they're alive. This one is different, because Tae-jin's head is in her lap, his blood soaking through her uniform, and she's pressing gauze to the wound with hands that won't stop shaking. Stay awake, she begs. Tae-jin, look at me. His eyes flicker open, dark, tired, but focused on her face. Can't look anywhere else, he murmurs. The plane stops. Emergency lights flood the cabin. The door blows open. Special forces, paramedics, organized chaos. Federal agents swarm in, weapons drawn, securing the attackers. Someone tries to pull Brielle away. She won't let go. I'm staying with him. They don't argue. She rides in the ambulance, still holding his hand. Medics work around her, IV lines, pressure bandages, vital signs called out. In clipped voices, the bullet went through, missed major organs, nicked a rib. He'll live. He'll live. Brielle doesn't let herself cry until they say it. Then she can't stop. In the hospital corridor, under fluorescent lights, Cassandra finds her. 23 people walked off that plane alive because of you two, she says quietly. Her shoulder is bandaged, exhaustion etched on her face. The FAA wants a statement, so do the feds, but that can wait. She squeezes Brielle's hand. You did good, kid. Brielle nods. Can't speak yet. 3 hours later, Tae-jin wakes in recovery. Brielle is beside his bed, hasn't moved. He looks at her for a long moment. Then, at 40,000 feet, you were the only real thing I saw. Brielle's breath catches. Tae-jin, I'm leaving it all behind. The organization, the territory, the violence. His voice is rough but certain. I've already made the calls. I'm out. You don't have to. Yes, I do. His hand tightens around hers. Because I almost died up there, and the only thing I regretted was never telling you. He pauses, swallows. Stay on the ground with me. It's not a question, not quite. Brielle leans down, presses her forehead to his. I'm right here. He kisses her then. Soft, real, grounded, no bullets, no fear, just them. 6 weeks later, Brielle stands in the hospital courtyard, sun warm on her face. She's on leave from the airline, voluntary. She needs time, time to heal, time with him. Tae-jin walks toward her, slow but steady. There's a woman with him, older, elegant, kind eyes that look like his. Brielle. His smile is easier now, softer. This is Ji-hai, my sister. The woman steps forward, takes Brielle's hands. The woman who saved my brother's life. I've heard so much. He saved mine first, Brielle says. Ji-hai laughs. He said you'd say that. She glances at Tae-jin. I like her. Later, when Ji-hai leaves them alone on a bench overlooking the garden, Tae-jin pulls Brielle close. I have to go back to Seoul, tie up loose ends, make sure the transition is clean, make sure no one else comes looking. Her heart clenches. How long? 3 months, maybe 4. He cups her face. But I'm coming back. I'm choosing this, choosing you, if you'll have me. Brielle thinks of that moment in the engine compartment. his hand over his heart, his voice saying, "You gave me a reason." She thinks of the boy in 4C, alive because Tae-jin threw himself in front of a bullet. She thinks of the way he looks at her now, like she's the only thing that matters. "I'll have you," she says. "I'll wait. And when you come back, I want you to meet my family." His eyes widen slightly. "Your family?" "My dad, my mom, my very protective older brother." She laughs at his expression. "You can handle it." Tae-jin laughs, really laughs. It's the most beautiful sound she's ever heard. "Deal," he says. He kisses her, soft, real, full of promise. And somewhere overhead, a plane traces a white line across the blue sky. But Brielle doesn't look up. She's exactly where she's meant to be. 3 months later, Tae-jin returns to Los Angeles. He's out completely, cleanly, finally alive. When Brielle meets him at the airport, he's holding a small velvet box. "I bought this in Seoul," he says. "But I wanted to wait, to ask in person." Brielle's breath catches. "I know it's fast. I know we've only known each other a few months, but when you've survived what we survived." He opens the box. A simple ring, elegant, perfect. Time doesn't matter, truth does. And the truth is, you're my reason, Brielle. My only reason. She's crying, laughing. "Yes, God, yes." He slides the ring on her finger, pulls her close. "First thing tomorrow," he murmurs, "I meet the Carters." Brielle grins against his chest. "First thing tomorrow, you survive round 2. He holds her tighter. "As long as you're with me, I can survive anything." And high above them, planes take off and land. People travel to new places, new lives, new beginnings. But for Brielle and Tae-jin, the journey's just starting. On the ground, together, forever. Sometimes love finds you in the most impossible places, 40,000 feet up, in the space between bullets and hope. Sometimes the person you'd never expect becomes the only one who matters. If this story moved you tonight, hit that subscribe button. Because every ending deserves a new beginning. And this is just the start. Sweet dreams, beautiful soul.